John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer. I'm a consumer credit expert. I have almost 30 years of experience in the credit industry. I've spent time at Equifax, which is one of the 3 credit reporting agencies, and FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system. So today's question, it has to do with defaulted credit card accounts. And specifically the question that I get is, hey John, can I get defaulted credit card accounts off my credit report? This is kind of a hybrid type of topic. This is a little bit of Fair Credit Reporting Act. It's a little bit of credit industry standards and practices, and then it's also a little bit of credit repair. And so I'm going to answer it kind of from a backwards perspective. So I'm going to answer it from the credit repair perspective. So you can certainly dispute or challenge anything on your credit report with which you disagree. That is your right. It's straight out of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The credit reporting agencies and the companies that furnish information to the credit reporting agencies are under no obligation legally to remove information from your credit reports that's in default prior to the expiration of the 7-year credit reporting clock. And that's sometimes people refer to that as the obsolescence period. But generally, defaulted information can remain on your credit reports for no longer than 7 years. And so if it's accurate, then the credit reporting agencies don't have to remove it. From a credit repair perspective, what the credit repair companies are going to do is they're just going to kind of they're going to file repeated disputes or repetitive disputes trying to get that information removed. And it may not be successful. So now from a industries and standards and practices perspective, the credit reporting agencies will normally remove that stuff a few months prior to the 7-year clock, but it's certainly their choice to do so. They don't have to remove it prior to 7 years. Those are the rules. You can file a dispute. They have to process or respond to the dispute. And what they generally will do when they respond to a dispute is they will ask the furnishing party, which is usually the credit card issuer, if the information that's being reported is correct or incorrect. So that's their kind of contribution to the investigation, if you will. That process can take no longer than 30 days, but look, where we are kind of in the history of credit reporting, the process doesn't take more than a couple of weeks. I think that's been generally recognized. Even the industry has stated as such. From an FCRA perspective, the only reason that information would be removed from your credit reports is if it's A, incorrect, or if it's unverifiable or outdated. Those are the conditions by which information can be removed from a credit report. So kind of to go back to the original question is, can I have a defaulted credit card account removed from my credit report? The answer is absolutely, you can. However, I also want to be very upfront with you and just ask you to have reasonable expectations. If it was easy as just, kind of snapping your finger and causing that information to be removed, then people would have perfect credit scores all the time because they would just ask that the derogatory information on their credit reports be removed and everyone would have perfect credit reports. Well, that's not, thankfully, actually, that's not how the system works. People who default on credit cards should be held accountable for those actions, and the way that they're held accountable is by having that information on their credit reports, having lower credit scores as a result, and therefore not getting as good of deals from lenders. That's called risk-based pricing. It's kind of like lending 101. And I realize that that's not what people generally want, and I get it, but in order to have a healthy credit system, you just can't have people defaulting here all over the place and then no one knowing about it. It's unfair for a lender to not know that someone who's applied for credit with them is a high credit risk. And that's what would essentially happen if people were just able to get derogatory information off their credit reports under false pretenses or prior to the 7-year credit reporting period. So how do you file a dispute? You can file a dispute with all 3 of the credit reporting agencies directly. You can do it through the U.S. mail system. You can file a dispute on their websites. There's a variety of ways to do it. It doesn't cost anything. And like I said, as long as you're as long as what you have submitted can reasonably be interpreted as a dispute. You can't just write them a letter and say, hey, I disagree with my credit report. That's not a dispute. You have to actually identify the item and then identify what about that item you find to be incorrect. And they have to perform an investigation, no cost, then they'll respond to you within a month with the results of the investigation. So go for it and good luck and see if it works out for you. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comment section below. And thanks a lot for watching and have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.